Hey, I'm Will, and this is going to be a short little vlog on firearms. Keep in mind, this is just some guy's opinion, so it may not even matter. Today, I'm going to be talking about WASRs. So I think WASRs, and AKs in general, sometimes have a misunderstood reputation. The old WASRs, for instance, have kind of a sordid history on the net. But if you understand AKs, and you do a little bit of digging back then, you'll find out that a vast majority of the complaints that people had were purely cosmetic. While it's true that Century Arms didn't always do a stellar job with some of the mag wells or the build kits, WASRs in general for a long time have been just as functional and just as reliable as any other AK. WASRs, while kind of crude and not the prettiest of guns, are comm block based military rifles from an actual military factory. They're imported into the US as single stack rifles. Century opens up the mag well and allows them to be able to take standard double stack magazines. There's lots of information about the WASR's history and how it's shipped in the United States all over the internet, so I won't get into that here. What I do want to talk about is how this rifle actually functions compared to the other AKs that I have. Comparing it to my Vepr, for instance, while the Vepr's finish and fit is much nicer and it's a much prettier gun, the WASR is just as reliable and just as durable. This particular WASR is going on 4,000 rounds right now. The only issue it ever had was entirely operator error. In taking a look at this unloaded WASR, we'll take a look at the front sights on it. Canted sights seem to be a major complaint on the old WASRs. As you can see in this 2016 production model, the sights are perfectly straight, perfectly aligned, easily zeroed, and completely centered. The bolt carrier catching was another major complaint on the older WASRs. People generally complained that the bolt carrier would get hung up if you rode it forward and let it go. It would stick. As you can see here, there's no point at all where this action sticks on this WASR. The action is smooth and easy to manipulate. Magazine fit was another complaint that people had on some of these older WASRs. Some of these issues are true, and the older production WASRs did have issues feeding different magazines. This newer production model doesn't seem to have any issue whatsoever. Whether it be a Romanian magazine, a Yugoslavian magazine, a Bulgarian magazine, a Magpul magazine, or even a Tapco. Accuracy for the WASR was another issue. People claim things like 6 to 7 MOA at 100 yards. In reality, a lot of people just didn't know how to shoot AKs or zero them correctly. This particular WASR is a 2 to 3 MOA rifle. On a really good day, I can hit 1.5 MOA, but that's not usual. The AKM was never designed or geared to hit a dime-sized target at 100 yards. They're fighting rifles. It will hit a pie plate shape at 100 to 200 yards, no problem. And that's what you need for a fighting rifle. Since the AKM is generally designed to be zeroed in meters instead of yards, there's a lot of confusion about how to actually zero these rifles. Once you know how to zero the AK and know how to use the sights, shooting it becomes extremely easy. And lastly, there's the myth of the indestructible AK, that anything you do to them won't hurt them and they'll just continue to run. That's false. People continually think that you can pour sand and mud down their chambers, bury them for years, and destroy them completely, and that they're just going to continue to work fine. It's a firearm. It will go down if you try to kill it. While the AK is indeed very rugged and can take a lot of punishment before it goes down, the real secret in its reliability, what actually made it famous, was not necessarily that you could do everything to it and it would keep on working, but that it was easy to fix in the field. Say your AK does go down in the field. There's stuff gunking it up. You can't get it to slide forward anymore. What do? While the AK is incredibly easy just to go ahead and take apart. You can get this stuff out of here if you need to. Wash it off, spit on it, anything you need to do to be able to clean it up. Once you get that fixed, it's very easy to return the rifle into its final configuration. The AK is extremely simple, doesn't require a lot to reassemble. It can fire with the dust cover off, no problem. So all in all, the new production WASR 10s and the old production WASR 10s are just as reliable, rugged, and durable as other AKs. They're used in combat all over the world and generally function flawlessly if you take care of them. That's really all I have to say on the subject. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But again, this is just some guy's opinion. It might not even matter.